Meditation or mindfulness is not the absence of thought. It is not the absence of anything. There's no effort needed to be mindful. In fact, any effort extended into a movement to perfect an idea called meditation or mindfulness is the very opposite of that which the words meditation or mindfulness point to. With our eyes closed, we limit our sense of seeing, and we begin to notice some of the other languages of the body, to become articulate in languages other than thought or spoken word, is to become mindful. One of the first ways we can do this, one of the primary languages that we are all very familiar with, is the language of the body, or body language. So perhaps in seeing the word mindfulness or meditation, we've closed our eyes and we've adopted the stance or position of that which we've seen other people meditating or being mindful do, that is sitting with our back somewhat straight, or if you're doing it wrong, overly vigorously straight, painfully straight spine. So if that's the case, let go of that. But with our eyes closed, we remain alert. We're not seeing nothing, we're looking at the inside of our eyelids. So now we've applied those words. Do so. Look at the inside of your eyelids. You'll probably see some light moving about, light penetrating the eyelids. So we're using the sense of seeing, even with our eyes closed, to notice that seeing, the experience of seeing, is still happening. We are simply not seeing things. We are not seeing an external world. Now, if I use the words hearing, very obviously you are hearing a voice, this one, and spaces between words, hopefully in a language you understand, though that isn't essential. But there are words and there are spaces between the words, or apparent spaces between the words and apparent words. Now here we can say we are aware of the words and we are aware of spaces between the words. Now notice that awareness remains the same. The awareness you are knowing remains the same whether there are words or spaces between the words. So awareness is unchanged by these words, this voice, and the absence of these words or this voice. Awareness is undivided by words or spaces. Now notice the breathing function of the body. So the atypical motion of breathing for mindfulness and meditation is to notice the rising and falling of the body, the stomach, the chest, as we breathe in and out. Many traditional techniques for meditation describe counting breaths and the few seconds it takes to breathe in and breathe out. We don't need to do that. We're not trying to bring about a technique or a path or a practice that enables us to focus. We are letting go of the idea even of a concept called focusing. We are merely noticing what is already happening, not trying to make something else happen so that what is happening already isn't noticed. So we're not trying to stop thinking by focusing on something other than thinking. This is not restful, it's not peaceful, it's merely fixing, diverting. Can be helpful, but here we are simply being mindful, meditating in a way that enables us to allow our attention to rest in and as awareness of direct experience, or of what is. We are noticing what is, not creating something that isn't by implementing a technique or a tool or a practice. So now if I apply the words, the bowl of the body, the bowl of the body, notice the sensation of the buttocks or the back against the seat, chair, or on a flat surface if you're laying down a mat or a bed or a blanket. Notice where the body, buttocks or back, are touching the surface of that which the body is being supported by, blanket, chair. And here we are applying sensation, or the sense of, or touch, or feeling, not emotion, but the feeling of the chair supporting the bowl of the body, the buttocks and the back. And perhaps our feet are on the floor, or the backs of our feet are resting on the blanket or bed, but there's a sensation of touch up the lower half of the body. Now, the sensation of touch, feet, buttocks, back, the breathing function, the stomach, the nostrils, the mouth, the listening experience, the voice and the absence of the voice, and the closed eyes which have prohibited the seeing of things, are all interchangeable objects or things with objective qualities. An object is something that can be described using words. We are aware of these things as different words are described for different phenomena: hearing, seeing, touching, sensation. Attention moves between these as one replaces the next, and attention shifts from object to object. Now if we turn our attention to awareness, so we are aware that we are aware, so you can ask yourself, even ask the question, am I aware? Your answer is obvious. Yes. Awareness is, I am aware. Now let's stay with that knowing experience of awareness. We may be aware of things, but are we aware itself? Are we aware that we are aware? Maybe there's some cars outside. The wind is busy here today. This voice, spaces between the voice. So we are aware of things, and awareness is unchanged by the changing things. Now, the qualities of being aware, we might say, in an attempt to describe the qualities, that being aware itself is still, though it has a sense of energy about it. We are still. It isn't troubling to simply notice being aware, and it is untroubled. If we rest as awareness, we find that there is no personality, there's no past, no future, so there's no time. And it isn't painful to just be aware, not aware of things, but the qualities of awareness itself. And the knowing experience of awareness is a common experience for every human person. We have been aware since we were born, and that awareness with which we went to school and left school, went out into the world, is the same awareness with which we are aware of a voice in the absence of a voice. It has never changed. Awareness has not been changed by events, both difficult or joyous. We have been aware of difficulty. We have been aware of joy. But awareness, which we can also now call the feeling I am. Same thing, awareness, I am, or better still, amness. The quality of I am is amness. So the amness that I am has not been changed by difficulty, by joy, nor by changing things, nor change itself. So we seek this stillness, this peace, this very amness, by finding the right things to have in our lives and by removing what we might call the wrong things from our lives that distress this sense of calm and peace. And our predicament is by using the mind to do so, to monitor whether this moment is good or bad, or difficult or joyful. The mind is a limited motion for processing stillness or awareness. The body is a much better or clearer indicator to presence, to mindfulness, to the experience of being, human being mindful. So it's really difficult to be mindful day and night, particularly if we take ourselves to be a thinking, feeling person that wants to be mindful, because all of that involves thoughts, feelings, a mental narrative which brings with it past events, difficult and joyous, hope and disaster and disappointment, the underside of hope, in future events. Unless we come out of the thought life, the thought language, and become articulate in the language of the mindful body, or of simply being, rather than constant doing in order to complete our list of things to do before we can rest. Because this is a movement of the mind. This is what the mind would have us believe and be. We think we are the thinker of thoughts that has a list of things to do before it will rest. But a concept called a thinker, all thoughts, lists, times, hope, disappointment, belong to the mind, which is brilliant, but is conceptually an idea appearing in itself. A usual word for the mind is me. And our usual word for awareness, beingness, what isness, what amness, is